Hello, I'm Valeria Cortez, and today I'm going to talk about the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela, focusing on the South Facade. The construction of the cathedral began in the 11th century and ended up being an emblematic monument of religious architecture full of history and details within the life of Santiago. This cathedral was built by King Alfonso VI of León y Castilla. However, its construction is mainly attributed to the architect Bernardo the Elder and his successor, Master Esteban. The history of the cathedral is really interesting because, according to Christian tradition, is that the Apostle Santiago the Greater arrived in Spain after the death of Jesus to preach the gospel. When he returned to Jerusalem, he was beheaded by King Herod I. That king was the king of the Judea and Samaria in 44 before Christ. When his followers found Santiago's body, they took him back to Spain and buried him secretly. The tomb of Santiago was forgotten for years, until one day in the 9th century, when a man named Pelayo, he saw a light in the forest of Libredon, where Santiago de Compostela was buried. Pelayo decided to go to Bishop Teodomiro to tell him what he had found. The bishop, together with a group of people, they went to find the tombs, and they discovered two bodies, which were, of course, Santiago and Teodoro and Atanasio, his disciples. The news spread and became an important place for pilgrimage because an important person was buried there. I made a timeline in order to capture the facts that precede the history of the cathedral. I divided it into 8 centuries that have a better appreciation of some concepts that have to mark through history and have a better perception of time. The first century, it's from 9 to 10, and it's the burial of Santiago that was rediscovered and temple and new church built. The second century is the 11th. Pilgrimage to Compostela promote the cathedral, and the construction began in 1075. The 12th century was when Diego Gelmírez, Bishop of Compostela, he promotes the cathedral renovation and pilgrimage. Centuries through to 12 through 13 was when Fernando II concludes cathedral with Master Mateo, and they highlight the artistic innovation. Centuries 15 to 16, the workshops were influenced by Mateo, and they continue with new architectural projects. In century 17, Baroque renovation of the cathedral with monumental staircase and interior, they had modernization. In 18th century, the Baroque remodeling with new facades and interior chapels. Centuries 19 to 21, they have a crisis impact in the city, and they rediscovered the tomb of Santiago, and that boosts pilgrimage. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the characteristics, and I will focus on what is the South Facade, better known as the Obradoiro Facade. As we know, over the years it was renovated and changing from Romantic to Baroque style. It was built by Fernando de Casas y Novoa between the 17th and 18th century, and it is located in the Obradoiro Square. That's why they name it like that. So in that way, that became the main entrance of the cathedral. That is really interesting because the facade has their own structures, and then out of nowhere it becomes the center of the attention and becomes the main entrance. The objectives that they pursued to achieve by building it was to protect the portico of glory that I'm going to talk about later, and they have to protect that to the time of the years, to the pass of the years. And they also wanted to integrate the Baroque staircase. Another of the objectives that they have considered was to integrate the urban structure. And they also made an access for the pilgrims to pay honor, respect, and give their prayers to Santiago at his tomb. In the center of the facade is a portico of glory, as I was mentioning, which is famous for its detailed sculpture, which represent the final judgment and public figures. As you can see in the image, they are all distributed through the arc, and it seems like they are sitting in there in a circular chair, like the form of the arc, to watch the show of the final judgment. Another important symbol to mention is the southeast tower that, as you can see in the image, it has a clock in it, and the clock tower has a name, and it's Berenguela, but also it is known as the Santiago de Compostela lighthouse because it has been marking the hours for centuries and makes reference to the pilgrims who came to visit Santiago de Compostela, so they can know where are they living, what time is it, and everything. Above the portico of glory, there is a baldachin with the statues of Santiago the Mayor and his disciples, which draw the attention of the visitors, of course, because look at that. There are a lot of sculptures and they're so bright and with a lot of light. It looks so cool. I look up to this image because it has a lot of hidden messages in its constructions, so you can appreciate it better. At first, we had Saint John, San Juan Evangelista. It is the Santiago's brother, and there is Saint Susanna, that is the patroness of the city. Over here, we have CBD, that is the father of Santiago. And as we already know, when a construction is made, they name the towers. So, here in the image, the left tower is named Carraca, and the right tower is named Tower of the Bells. In the centers of the image, we can appreciate Atanasio and Teodoro, who were the disciples of Santiago that I mentioned in the story of the Cathedral. They are the ones who take care of the urn that is here, and the urn has the remains of Santiago. The angels that are near to them, they are the ones that carry the symbols that has the order of Santiago. On the right, we can see Salome, that is the mother of Santiago, and by her side is the Santiago the Minor, that is the brother of Santiago, and also Saint Barbara, the patron saint of the Guild of the Stonemasons, right here. Okay, the architecture and design. The Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela is an example of Romantic and Baroque. As you can see, I put some examples here so you can appreciate the difference between those styles. This architecture, you can see, thanks to the semicircular arches that elaborate stained glass and windows and sturdy walls, that it's a Romantic and Gothic style. And as time went by, the cathedral evolved in its architecture and starting in Romantic style, but the facade of the Obradoiro ended up in an ornate and moving Baroque style. This facade is a masterpiece that highlights the Baroque style with its sculpture, Solomonic columns, and intricate details that symbolize the relationship between Santiago and their Christianity. I put here some culture and religious importance. The facade of the Obradoiro is what marks the end of the Road of Santiago. Besides being the most important symbol of the city and the Jacobean tradition. The symbols. It is a symbol of faith, hope, and unity for those who go to the road to Santiago. It is also an architectural jewel that draws attention for its beauty. And of course, look at all the photos that I have put in the slides, and it's really beautiful. And every detail has marked something, has history. And the cathedral keeps alive the tradition by it and devotion to the Apostle of Santiago. In 1985, it was declared a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO because, if you haven't seen, it has a lot of urban beauty and the integrity of the monument, in which it marks a religious and cultural movement of the Middle Ages. Learning about the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela was very, very interesting. I found a lot of information, but I had to summarize all of that because it was a lot, so that the presentation wasn't too saturated. But I like to see the different perspective and focus on the South Facade. That was an interesting twist because it is easy to think that an architecture construction must be in one style, but that it has two different styles. It's something to talk about because who changed it like that? It changed from Romantic to Baroque style, and the South Facade was where the Baroque was more defined. So you can see the trajectory of how it was built, how they came out through all the years and changed their style. But also, how does the facade converse into the main entrance and became the central point instead of the main entrance everyone think would be? It was amazing learning that. A fact that I thought when I was looking for pictures of the cathedral is that every picture I saw reminded me a lot of Howard's. It's a style in hallways like this photo. It's too similar to the school in Harry Potter. Another movie that it reminds me is the new Willy Wonka movie, where the pastor that made some illegal deals, his cathedral has the same organization inside of the Cathedral of Santiago, and it is very good to see the styles of the construction in movies like that. It is really interesting, and I like that point, and I like finding out. That would be it for my presentation. I hope you like it. Please leave a lot of questions in the comments. I will be answering it. And here are my references. Thank you.